Go and subscribe to the FIFA Ramble. They're the best ramble that could ever be, so make sure to subscribe. Thank you.
Oh, look at this cat on the pitch. What's happening? What's going on? There's a cat. He's on a pitch. He's looking around. Hey, there's a cat on the pitch. Look at this cat. Didn't give a shit.
What have you done with George?
Monkey, is it there?
Ah, good.
I got a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park saying clever girl.
Mitch, you big tool. Hi. You look like a man who enjoys DIY.
Do I?
Yeah.
You look like the exact man.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You look like a man that owns a chisel.
Go on, where's this going?
I just think you should go to Wason's Penarth for all your industrial goods.
Yeah?
That's
Yeah.
about it.
Alright, I will. Sorted.
Go there.
Five.
This
Is it number 70, 72?
72.
72.
72.
72.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turned out one blancmange, it was mange 2. We're joined with Chich today, he's our special guest.
Man City Chelsea coming up this weekend.
Yeah?
Big old fixture, that.
Alright.
Big old fixture.
Anyone back Higuain to just lash him in or what?
I think he might take a bit of time. I still think he needs another 2 games.
The first one was key though. First goal,
Yeah.
Kamara goes...
Yeah.
But I think he's still
Lovely
taking
finishes.
to...
I watch a lot of Serie A and I like Higuain. We've talked about this before. I just genuinely don't think. No, when certain players join the league, Aubameyang joined the league, and I thought.
Is it like you've seen his eyes, like you're not built for this, lad?
I'm not sure. Like the problem that I have with Higuain in the Premier League is the same problem I have with Higuain in Serie A. He don't look after himself. His fitness is not as good as other people's
I
fitness
think
levels.
he's just fatness, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
He's
what
there,
do
he's
I
a
do?
striker, he strikes. What more do you want from him?
I think Chelsea knew what they were getting. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
They definitely.
But,
I just think he's going to take a while for him to get into it.
And you've got to back up the fact it's a loan deal.
It's
And
only
they
a
can, they
loan.
can pull out if they want to, even though they spent what? It's
Yeah.
going to be about 15 million, isn't it?
And look, how hard is it
Just
to get
for
a top
part
class?
of the season, possibly.
They
Top
also though
class.
had to pay money to AC Milan and Juventus to get it done because they had to buy him out of his loan deal with AC, and then they had to buy him back out on loan.
That right
from
there is
Juve.
the cost of a world-class striker, because obviously you're just taking risk. It is a calculated risk. I don't see the problem with it whatsoever.
Look, what are the world class? It's almost the same as the Ramsey deal because him going to Juve, in that everyone talks about how much that Ramsey deal actually cost, and I'm sure it was Ted Knutson said what you've got to take into account. He's brilliant. He said what you have to take into account is that they're not paying a transfer fee. All they are paying for is the agent fees and his wages. His wages, the whole deal, is going to cost them 37 million. Now, could you buy a player of Aaron Ramsey's quality
On a
and
4-5
pay
year
his
contract as well, isn't it?
and
It's a
pay
long
his wages
contract.
and also pay his agent fees and a transfer fee? Could you get all of that for a player of that quality for less than 40 million? I don't think you could.
No, you couldn't. No.
Could you get a world-class striker like Higuain on an 18-month deal for around 20 million? No, you couldn't. You couldn't buy a player for
And
that.
I think at one stage a few years ago, I think he was the best Premier. I think he was at the season where he was probably the
Top of
best.
his game.
Yeah, top of the game, and
His
probably
last
best
season,
midfielder in the league, Premier
His-
League.
But-
And then he got injured again, and
Yeah.
then he dropped
Yeah.
again from there.
And
Started getting back in
Ramsey
the
is
team.
super.
That's sort of what you get though. It's like it'll be a better pace for him
Yeah.
for that league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
time,
no,
to,
yeah.
time to pick the pass.
But guys, I think the only thing that's going to stop Man City is a bit of a clogged fixture really against Chelsea. I think they'll wipe them aside.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah, I
think
think
that
so.
you're that confident in City?
Yeah, I
do you?
think so. Yeah, like Man City just pulverising their way through, and like they're big game players, all of them. Like if you've got a fit Aguero, he's going to cause damage against anyone. Anyone. We saw it against Arsenal. Jesus,
We said
they're
last week.
blown away.
We said last week about Man City and that people have almost written them off, weirdly, because they were the greatest team in the world last season. And now they've written them off, and because it's Liverpool are having a great year. Well, Man City have kept very, very close to Liverpool since dropping behind them.
Yeah.
They've had key injuries. De Bruyne going out again. Aguero was out for his usual couple of weeks that he has every season when he just is injured. And they've managed to stick with Liverpool.
At quite a high fast pace.
While
Yeah.
Liverpool have been on this ridiculous run, they only conceded 7 goals in the first. It felt like 100 fixtures in this season. You know, it was and then they conceded nearly half that amount against Palace.
I think it's
Liverpool have
for us
dropped
looking
off
at
the
it.
same time
It's just
City
made
remind
it
everyone how good they
it's
are.
made us really interested. Like we spoke about this like a couple of weeks ago actually. Like it's really heated up at the top.
Yeah.
And, like it just needs a few things, which actually happened last week. Like the fixtures are a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
And look what we got now. Like potentially we've got a 3-horse race.
People are starting to talk about the psychological
Spurs
battle
are
that goes
that.
into
But
the championship battle
they were
as
written
well.
off only 2 games ago. Like because as soon as Harry Kane got injured, they were like, "Well, that's it now. It's a 2-horse race, game, set, and match, right? Which who's going to do after each other?"
My problem with
So you
Spurs,
can't say that, can you?
My problem with Spurs is the same thing that I've had the problem with Spurs since the beginning of last season. You know, they need to invest in players. They need
Change the
to.
record.
Yeah, it's true though. They still do. I know I've said it countless times. They need to invest. They have to invest. Their squad is too thin to compete on all those fronts, especially after so many of that squad had pretty much a
Yeah, but
full
when you
World
say
Cup.
that, you devalue the work that Pochettino's done with that squad. Then
He's done amazing. He's done an amazing
So why
job.
is
But he
why
did
is there
build a
no
squad,
issue?
but I think there was a lot of players that didn't fill their promises. Like, you know, when you look at Janssen and stuff like this, you know, they spent money on him, and I think that, you know, he was at one stage, you know, he could have been a player like that you could rotate a little bit, or was
He was
having that
quality
like
in the Eredivisie. He
you
was a
know,
great
and he was
player.
he was just banging him in, but.
But he refuses to use him, he
not
says that
even,
he's
not
not.
even to put him on a bench now, not even to give him a sniff of a way to get in, you know. So
Yeah, it's no. I think it is a genuine 3-horse race. I'm surprised. Do you think City will win? What do you
I think City by a couple of goals as well.
What the interesting thing,
Yeah.
the interesting
I
thing
genuinely
is,
didn't
like
think-
Spurs can actually have focus on that league now, whereas like Liverpool and Man City will just be in a fire. So I
Yeah,
think
they
that comes
can,
through,
but
especially with De Bruyne coming through.
But
and-
Chelsea are going to look to get big results against bigger teams to prove
Yeah.
something.
And
So he's got to do that against big teams now because this is his build. This is his build in.
Who knows what
season,
we're going
you
to
know?
get from Chelsea? They've been up and down. I've enjoyed watching them, but Jesus, like with a striker, I don't know. There's no excuse for Hazard to drop in his position and then move forward. Like we've seen how damaging they were to like Huddersfield a couple whenever.
I still think the Batshuayi they should have kept him as well. Like, and
I got him in my dream team straight away. I trusted
I
Mitch.
still
Yeah,
think
he's
I think he can go on again. I think he's got all the attributes, even like better than what Lukaku had a few years ago. And
Do you know
stuff
what's
like that.
interesting about
He's
Chelsea?
game time.
And we've said this
Work
as well,
on
haven't
the
they? At one point, there was when they had Morata, they had Giroud,
Still right, Morata.
they had Batshuayi, and they had Tammy Abraham. Now, every one of those 4 strikers offers you something different. Every one of them.
Options.
In between those 4, you've got people who are good with their back to goal. You've got good with people running on through balls. You've got good people with your left foot, right foot, good in the air.
Good
A
off-
mix of
on the
every
play, yeah.
good striker in those 4. And they loaned out Abraham. They've loaned out
Abraham's
Morata, who
proved
could have
himself.
sold him.
And he could have-
They've good
he's
as well
got
got rid of
he's
Batshuayi and they're not playing
pure
Giroud.
pace.
Yeah. And
Class.
they've lost those options up there. I mean, it'd be interesting to see a lot's been made about whether this with Higuain coming in that'll help Hazard rather than playing Dinamo as a striker.
Mitch, summarise this, please.
Summarise this: City to roll on. Did you know what's amazing as Kamara is the fact that photo of him being sold. It's just the gold. It just sums up his whole time at Fulham, which is bonkers. And the way he's wearing, he looks really studious with his glasses. He just doesn't look like a footballer at all in that photo. No one looks happy that they signed him. And he's just like
None of them do, they're just like...
even when he's left the Premiership, he's still giving us
I'm
entertainment
absolutely still convinced he's going to come off my bench.
and scores.
Score a goal. He had a fight. He nicked the penalty off Mitrovic. He came off the bench and scored the goal. He had a fight. He'll come off the bench and score a goal.
And I ordered a cheesecake for dessert, and sat down, waited for the cheesecake, and then this thing came out, which definitely wasn't a cheesecake. It basically looked like a round sort of sorbet with a crust. And then she put it down. She said, "Oh, she did tell you it's not a cheesecake, isn't it?" As she put it down, I thought, well, first of all, no, she didn't, and secondly, it's called cheesecake on your menu. And basically, it was some weird like cheesecake bomb thing that they call them, where it's not really a cheesecake. It's not. No, it doesn't even look like it. I don't even know why it shares a name. And she said, "Oh, okay, fine." And then and she comes back like 2 minutes later, and I'm like, "Well, I definitely wasn't explained that it wasn't a cheesecake." She goes back, she's like, I just spoke to my colleague and she said she definitely did tell you that it wasn't a cheesecake. I was like, hang on a second, I want a blooming cheesecake here. And she's come in and explained to me that her colleague, she's arguing against me that she told me that it was a cheesecake. So I sat there and half the team were there like laughing their head off, and I can't order a cheesecake on a menu ever again. So that's basically my cheesecake story.
Yeah. So basically, I had to stop the car reverse.
Yeah.
And then I got out of the car and I had to finish off with a car jack.
Let's start with that. Let's go with Everton now. Come on.
Everton, okay, right. If you were an Everton fan, why would you be annoyed at what Silver's done? Young manager, representing, bringing people.
Yeah.
Can I give you an answer?
Go on, Luke.
I just don't see it's the same as the Leicester thing. Like, I don't get it.
I think the reason that Everton fans are a little bit annoyed with Marco Silva at the minute is because the amount of hubbub around him signing and the whole Sam Allardyce thing, he's going to leave. They want Marco Silva. We all know they want Marco Silva to come in. Watford sack him because his head's turned. They had Sam Allardyce in, and he was touted as an amazing young foreign coach, and he's up and coming. He's like Pochettino, and he's coming. And actually, Everton have performed where they should. They've performed where I would. They're top heavy.
No.
They've got too many wingers. I think the press.
They would be down. Don't forget, before Sam Allardyce, they were like down in the bottom. They almost like started off
this is what I mean.
Season, and now the expectancy is, we should be top 5. Yeah, but it's going to take time to get there.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
I think there's a lot of teams that are going to be in the same boat at the moment. I think you can say Everton, you can say Watford, you can still say even Leicester. They're still going to struggle to go that extra mile.
Because it's the same thing they've always struggled
to get it right, you've got to... and is their stadium big enough?
Yeah.
Are they putting enough money into their squads and that type of thing to take them off that level? The only team to have done it, and I know they've only probably done it maybe 3 or 4 years ago, is Tottenham have put those processes in place to just be there. And where do you go from that? Like with these type of teams like Watford and with Everton?
Yeah.
How where's your realistic goal? If you're top 10, you should be happy with that. Yeah. You don't, as long as you're playing the right brand of football, which your football club has always played around,
comfortable,
and have that identity about you.
Because one season it could be your season.
Yeah.
So you never know.
And going back with the Sam Allardyce thing, I think he was branded playing one type of football, which is totally wrong for that football club.
Well, you can go back even further and say, because I genuinely think the problem at the minute is just because Marco Silva was hyped up to be this young Mourinho, that when they actually perform much better than they did last season, they're performing much better, and he's got them to where they should aim to be now. It's a transition period. You sell some players that you shouldn't have ever brought in. I know he's played well, but forever signing Gylfi Sigurdsson for 60 million was the dumbest transfer of last season. He's a great player, but for 60 million pounds they got robbed. They got robbed. He's 30 years old.
Yeah, but look at him.
Do you know what? I in a way, I debate. You look at Ericsson, right? I don't think there's a massive difference. I think a few years ago there wasn't a massive difference between, like when for example, when they sold Sigurdsson to Everton. And then with the whole Swansea thing, I don't think there was that much of a difference between those two players at all.
The problem that I have with the deal over the Ericsson one is the age. Gylfi Sigurdsson is a lot of money, but he for the same player you could buy 3 Blaise Matuidi's transfer value wise.
Yeah, the Blaise Matuidi level.
That's the one. Yeah, we judged it. We did a whole season on transfers. How many Blaise Matuidi's could you buy for that value? You could buy 3 Blaise Matuidi's and have change for 1 Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Do you know what?
He's not 3 times the player
because what you get with Sigurdsson is a solid performer consistently
with no resale value. Whose XG is
but
dropped.
If you've got what are you going to get 3-4 seasons out of him? Break that down. He's at the centre of everything. He's built strong. He takes everything. He's a low risk. That's a low risk thing. But it just so happens at that time. Guess what? That's what
he's a low risk signing. The cost of fortune. But I think the transfer market at that stage though was extreme crazy. It hit that bubble again. It was that kick-off part.
Yeah. However, Arsenal have shown this season that it is possible to buy brilliant young players who can come into the league for a limited amount of funds, make a huge difference and grow. Guendouzi has been, and Torreira have been amazing.
We can talk about Arsenal.
But I think, and
they've got steals on.
If you look at the result on the weekend, and I think Everton fans would look at a side like Wolves, who we said at the start of the season had done amazing business, and they are in a place now where Everton thought they were going to be playing attractive football in 7th, just outside the big 6, if you will, and they're there in that position. And Everton fans are looking. I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't the right move to bring in Silva over Allardyce, but I think they finished 8th under Allardyce last season. So I mean, if you're very devil's advocate, you could say they're in a transition period, but they're not still in a position where they think even in transition maybe we should be doing better than we are, and that's where there's.
I think Marco Silva is a great coach. I think he's massively underrated and undervalued. Exactly. He's in his first season at the club. He also has had to deal with a squad with a lot of players who he quite obviously doesn't want.
But he's had to set a totally new identity.
Yeah.
The problem
he's learning as well.
To grasp.
Right. Also, exactly. This is the problem that you have with
and that's the
football owners and the football expectations. Think about it, as just in your day-to-day running. You go from having Ronald Koeman, who wants to play like Ajax, that's where he wants to play. Then you bring in Sam Allardyce, and he goes, forget all the passing and trying to play with your head up and look for angles. Forget all of that. What I want you to do, you see that guy down there, hit it to him.
Just play more direct.
Just hit it to him.
More direct football.
Yeah. Now, I'm not here to say one. Hit Les.
And then they go back again.
And then they go back to Marco Silva, who wants to play this tiki-taka style football. Imagine being a footballer at Everton and go, I don't know whether I'm coming or going here. That's going to take a while to settle in. Exactly the same as why I will forever say sacking De Boer at Palace was dumb. Yeah. Because he
10 games on.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Oh,
less than 5.
5, I think.
We wouldn't see Roy.
Then you wouldn't see Roy. So shout out, Roy Hodgson. But imagine being a Crystal Palace player at that time and just being like, hang on a minute, what do you mean? You go from De Boer to Hodgson.
I've just finished Liverpool's playbook.
Totally different.
Change it.
So it was a Pulis side. It's just right. But
but then that's the problem. And Silva's also a coach who's learning as well. He's playing trade. He's learning to back him. Just
I want him to succeed. The more he succeeds, the more of an idiot he makes Paul Merson look.
I think they should stick. I was
stick.
Right.
You want to win on the weekend?
No one's mentioned Wolves yet. We just have.
I think Wolves have been top quality to be
Wolves
this season.
Wolves have been good. They beat Everton. It was really good.
Let's do it. Wolves are good.
Well, I can see that last season in them.
We talked about Wolves.
I fancied them for the top 10 at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think all of us
enjoy seeing them play.
I think all of us on our previous show predicted Wolves would finish in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think all three.
But I think they're causing the
only problem is there's always going to be an asterisk. But some people's heads because of the George Mendes thing.
But they could also be like very similar to like Watford or what Watford have done. They could be that type, for example, like Everton for me. But they need to be careful on that next season. I think on that's going to be key for them.
Watford. Most confusing team in the league?
No, Bournemouth are.
Bournemouth? I agree. Should we move this to Bournemouth next?
Yeah.
Sum this up, Luke.
Now, quick!
Marco Silva. I'm glad we're all agreed on Marco Silva.
Yeah, we were.
No, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
My actual fingernail was caught in the toboggan, in the chain. Bournemouth, if not everyone's most confusing side to watch.
Well, they're up there.
How can you go from extremes of just smashing Chelsea to being on the receiving end of a Cardiff City performance?
Take out this Cardiff City. It's not a judgment on Cardiff City and them at all. However, if you're Bournemouth, I heard Eddie Howe said
you wax lyrical about him 1 week and then you're like, oh.
Yeah, well, Eddie Howe himself.
You've seen
you on the streets. Eddie Howe said that you can't, if you beat Chelsea 4-0 1 week and then lose to Cardiff City, the Chelsea game was irrelevant.
I think
that's
right,
what he said, and that's true. Because if you're Bournemouth, yes, it's brilliant that you beat Chelsea 4-0, but then if you lose to a side who are in the relegation zone, that result was a fluke. If you beat Cardiff, that's a run.
Well, it's just cancel each other's result.
Yeah, it is.
It's ridiculous.
But you can't really have that rule of thumb, can you? As you go on to you look at teams look at a certain number of fixtures, don't they? Between 1 and 5, what sort of punch you want to be getting.
Rafa Benitez is the master at doing it.
And it never
highlight games and go, I want points in that.
Yeah. Well, it never. It doesn't work out like. Particularly as you get to the end of the season.
I quite like how Bournemouth are because it makes it really interesting to watch. I wouldn't mind being a fan of that.
I love them.
Yeah, because and the other thing, I saw Ryan Fraser play against City. He was great. He was electric.
Still.
They're still
He's had a few good games and got nothing from him, and he's been unlucky.
For me, with Bournemouth, though, I know Eddie Howe's been there for a number of years and everything like that, but I still don't think they have an out-and-out philosophy in the way they play. I think they're a harder team to read in the way they play.
I see
Because
they're almost like a
they can play a lot of
monster
different ways of playing the
Yeah.
style. But I just think personally with Bournemouth, they find it a struggle to play against a physical team or to play against a team who are going to dominate them tactically. You know, I think of all the teams in the Premier League, I find them harder to read. Our philosophy.
I figured out another factor because Bournemouth are that team where the types of play go to like young English like players. Many of them have an injury record, like Callum Wilson, like Josh King got ahead of that. Like they've got through the ranks like players who have tried
They've got a
and
few
tested.
at the back as well, like Francis and Daniels.
Stanislas could potentially be a very high quality player. They've taken gambles on those young players in order for them to get to play.
It's almost like a Moneyball-esque.
It totally is.
Well,
And it's
yeah,
worth the
Matt
risk
Ritchie,
sometimes.
maybe,
Like
was
when Callum Wilson, if he was fully fit, what would he get? You're looking at like a really top quality striker there. Like
That's which is again the fact that they bought a lot of British players, the premium on them. So if one of them kicks off, sets fire like Callum Wilson, he's worth.
I think Brooks
double what he would be.
I think
he's
Brooks,
worth double what they would be.
I think
Spanish because they need.
I really believe that in given 2 years' time, I think that Brooks could be on the way to one of these top 5, top 6.
Yeah, between Brooks and Maddison, they're my favourite midfielders in the game.
And naturally creative, really
so
creative.
I think they really struggle against injuries throughout. So it's high risk, high reward. If they get them playing and everything's good, if not, then areas of that pitch they struggle.
So you see what they can do against the big sides. They've done that. They've proved that. Not just this season, previous seasons. Liverpool this time around, away from home.
Can they pick anything up?
Can they pick? It's a Liverpool side that are stuttering a little bit, you know.
I think there's just media build up in order for that. You know what? They've got a sustainable squad. It's the first time you actually saw him squeaky bum time now. Like Jurgen Klopp with a few things not going in his way.
First time all season, yeah, definitely.
But they pick up that win, they get over it, dust themselves down.
Yeah, who else
start looking to do it? But, you know.
Imagine if you're Bournemouth and you go and they do win, and you look back and you go, right, we beat Chelsea, we lost to Cardiff City, we beat Liverpool. You're like, what? What are you on about? Can I throw out a Liverpool fact?
No.
Go on.
I'm going to anyway. It's a fact attack. Naby Keita has made more Premier League appearances without losing a game than any other player in the competition's history.
Wow.
Okay.
18 games, 14 wins, 4 draws. So no one has got his set up Premier League record.
Looking for this because you've always backed Naby Keita.
When Liverpool signed Naby Keita,
he was copping a bit of grief from Carragher after the West Ham game, wasn't he?
Nah, Carragher
doesn't rate him in Liverpool show.
I don't rate Carragher.
So go on. Predictions. Is Liverpool going to get back on track?
Yeah, of course they will.
Yeah?
Yeah, it'll be a 3-horse race to the finish.
Yeah, I think they will. I think it'll be tight.
Tight, but just.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
full house.
Last words are tight, but.
Sum it up.
Tight, but.
Tight, but great.
Tight, but great. Okay, right, Cardiff City, these are the things that I've learned. Cardiff City, I went to see Cardiff City on the weekend against Bournemouth. There's the things that I noticed. It was a huge result, it was a lovely result. Bobby Reed, it was a questionable penalty, but let's put that to one side for a sec.
That's on this side.
On that side.
Okay.
The togetherness shown by Cardiff City in the face of the Salah tragedy, absolutely unreal. I never saw anything negative towards that crowd, that Cardiff City crowd. That was the best crowd I've ever seen. Sombre environment, everyone together. You could hear a pin drop. They just showed the absolute togetherness of there. That created an immense atmosphere, and it really kicked on. Like everyone was up for it. Like they had the training tops on. It was great. Bobby stepped up, grabbed the ball, and just took it. And just slammed it straight down the middle, went straight over, showed support, showed togetherness again, when he just held up the Salah shirt. I think it was an elbow touch and really G'd everyone up. The other thing is the staunch defending, like Sol Bamba, obviously, like fans' favourite. Shout out Sol Bamba.
Shout out!
But again, I think it should be a little shout out, just small one.
Shout out!
To Hercule Mango, who played in his actual position. Like there was one point which was really comedy though. Like he was just stood over the ball of a free kick, just hit Patterson, go into that in a minute, hit it up there, and like it was as silent as the 1 minute silence, right?
You knew what you were going to get.
You made this one. It just went straight up for touch. You heard people going,
You knew where it was going.
he's managing touch. Got a good touch there. But apart from that, he had a really wicked game. But that's the insight to a footballer. You could have the best game, but if you just spanner a free kick or a pass, that's all I remember. Like you could hear tumbleweed at that point. But I just want to give a shout out because that's staunch defending. That's exactly what they're good at. The other thing I really like Gunnarsson. I'm a big fan of Gunnarsson's Icelandic beastiness in midfield, even though he's pretty cumbersome in the middle of the park. Yeah, but the main thing about Gunnarsson, he appreciates playing, and like he loves it. After being like a side bit player, any like if you were playing, you weren't playing, you'd get really like you wouldn't know your purpose, would you? But with Gunnarsson playing, I thought that was a great thing. Niasse was not a pain. He was great up front. He was great. He gives them extra clout. He made passes happen. He made triangles. He made space happen until about 75th, and he got a little bit tired.
Yeah, he just ran about that.
But it just provides a new outlet. But it becomes like the whole problem with City has been they're lacking it.
Shout out!
This is the best. This is my man of the match of
okay. I was waiting to see who you were going to pick then. Shout out!
Shout out, good. My man Callum Patterson.
Yeah.
P-Dog.
Man does not lose anything in the air.
Yep.
So like aerial attacks, you probably have a 19, maybe a 20 on Football Manager. He's incredible.
I've never seen anyone as
powerful
in the air as the GOAT. That's
I think
like Patterson, the GOAT, they are...
Patterson is Sean Goater. What a
combination station.
I think there is a stat out there which indicates how much he actually wins in the air, because attacking or defence, he was just
genuinely, because I know you haven't played it, but FIFA 19, Callum Patterson, if you play Cardiff and you play you change tactics to long ball and you put him up front, it works. Telling you, it works. It's not pretty, but you win games. You win games. Callum Patterson doesn't lose a ball on FIFA 19. You hit it up to him, he's like, I got it, it's fine, don't worry. That's it, Dan. You don't lose anything. It's brilliant.
Oh, Mitch, I stole your corner last week because you weren't here.
Yeah.
Do you know what he did with it?
He did.
He snuck in there.
He shoofed it up. Like an aerosol can on a bonfire.
So I created like a football philosophy corner in the meantime, and now we're just gonna celebrate the morality of man right now. And hear me out. No, hear me out.
I'm here. Listen. Go on.
So
listen.
Last week I spoke about Albert Camus, who was like an existentialist.
Yeah.
Who was a football player. He was a goalkeeper.
Of course he was a goalkeeper.
And when he was asked, "What do you prefer, the theatre or football?" he said, "Football every time." It's like the togetherness, like everyone serving like a common purpose together. And he said, "That's it for me." Yeah. So what I want to allude to right now is the morality of man, what every single Cardiff City player must have felt, like including Neil Warnock with tears in his eyes at the end of the game.
Yeah.
The impact of this like on everyone's way of thinking, not just football, it goes far deeper than that. It gives everyone like a purpose and something to fight for, especially in the Cardiff City ranks, and that could be the golden goose which is going to save them from relegation. How we all dangle by a thread. And how moral we are. Think of the impact of every single one of those players.
It could galvanise them. It could galvanise
Absolutely.
them.
So everyone in that crowd we saw, like everyone was together and everyone was fighting for this thing. So if they start with relegation, that is a crazy twister impact, and that's how far a man's life, given the circumstances, can actually go.
I agree with you. I agree with all your points.
Yeah. Solid. No, fine.
There's one thing I will say though, that with the whole transfers fee, because I don't know, like basically Nance had given Cardiff City 7 days to pay the first instalment. So I just don't but Cardiff are holding off because they want to obviously figure out what happens with the investigation,
settlements and things
like
that.
But I just hope there's no bad blood there, and obviously given the set of fans and the respect for each other, I don't think that'll be an issue. But I just hope that there's nothing financially.
It'll be interesting to see how this
needs to be like that, you know.
Who could even come up with a scenario like that when you would be thinking what is the best thing to do in that?
Right. As our guest, Chich, first sentence that comes into your head, summarise this section for us.
Chicken Charmaine, City's insane.
Right, so full round of championship action this weekend. 3 fixtures I think to watch out for.
Okay.
Aston Villa and Sheffield United on Friday.
Good win.
Yeah, so Sheffield United have got a pretty potent strike force at the moment. Billy Sharp and Dave McGoldrick.
Sharp
Billy
is
Sharp is just a
just
goal scorer. Isn't
Two
he?
former
Outright.
Forest players
Yeah.
who had in different sort of times. Well, Sharp did slightly better than McGoldrick, but both in great scoring form. Villa have picked up quite a few draws lately. Be interested to see if they can get. They were threatening to push into that playoff in the playoff zone in the last month or so, but they've kind of tailed off a little bit lately. Sheffield United, Chris Wilder continues to say that they are rank outsiders for that automatic promotion spot, but they continue, I think, to play really attractive football, free scoring, and they continue
Relatively
to
consistent, isn't he?
Yeah, relatively consistent. He's done a great job there. So that'll be an interesting one on Friday at Villa Park. Always will be good under the lights
What
there.
about Birmingham?
You and your Birmingham,
Oh,
leave it out.
I was going to say Monk again.
Then on Saturday, I think the pick of the fixtures is Hull against Derby. Hull are on an amazing run of form. Nigel Atkins has done an amazing job there. They're
It's
really,
unbelievable.
they are really
Picked
pushing.
him from bottom 3, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Bottom
exactly, and they are on a hell of a run, and it's not threatening to stop at all.
4. Free Campbell, a low score goals.
Yeah, and they had a great win on the weekend against Stoke. Derby drew the last fixture. Again, another side. Both two teams are looking to get into the playoffs. But if Hull get in the playoffs, absolute massive overachievement there. So I think that's one to watch out for on Saturday. And Sunday, there is only one fixture I think that you can... Stop all this distraction. This is the championship. We've got to take it seriously. It's the best league in the world. Best league in the
I
world.
love the league.
Sunday, good. See, this
League.
man
I
knows his
love the
stuff.
league.
This man knows stuff. Sunday, it is a big derby. Norwich and
Don't mention
Ipswich.
Derby.
Norwich, I already mentioned. Ipswich, Charlton Norwich, two sides that need the points for different reasons. Norwich with an amazing 3-1 win at Leeds. Buki scoring the goals for them. He's done a hell of a season. Ipswich, a big loss at home. Steve Bruce's first game. I know, but they continue to do it.
Yeah, to give you a shout out.
Is there a shout
I did not say a shout out this week. I'm not saying a shout. No one deserves a shout out this week. I'm just saying, watch out. Two sides that need the win. Paul Lambert, former Norwich manager, going back there. They need the points for different reasons, but I don't think they're going to get them. That's the championship corner this week. There you are.
So this is a section we like to call Readers' Wives.
What is Reader's Wife?
Readers' Wives is not our readers, and we don't know their wives. We don't know any of their wives. It's
No,
where
listen.
we ask our Twitter followers at the FIFA Ramble and Instagram at the FIFA Ramble and Facebook the FIFA Ramble. We ask all of our listeners who like us on there
Good plug that.
to give us some answers to a question of the week. This week's question that we posed to our listeners was: with Klopp bemoaning referee decisions, the Aguero handball goal, the recent offside Millwall goal against Everton, plus more, surely VAR being introduced to the Premier League cannot come quick enough. Do you agree? Has your opinion on VAR changed at all? That was our question of the
Yeah.
week.
So what do we get?
Right, we had Chris C. Etchingham, host of award-winning Man on the Post podcast, friend of the
Yeah.
show. He said, always been wanting this. It'll have some teething issues, but long-term it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I agree. Nathan then came in with the opposing view. Man United fan.
Yeah.
Polar.
Obviously.
Polar. I've always been anti-VAR, as I love the arguments that right or wrong decisions could cause between friends and fans. I understand the need for it and fully appreciate the arguments for introducing it. It needs to be introduced fully and integrated properly. I'm not sure why rugby TMO system isn't transferable instead of VAR. And then he also says, also consider giving the captain manager 3 appeals to use like in cricket.
They've looked at that as an option, though, haven't they? They've seen, given the free strike thing. I mean, it's even like in American football and stuff like that. You can know. I think giving the coaches that right to even the captain or whatever to make those calls, I think it's just, then you can have those reviews.
Okay.
Go on. What else
Can
do
I
we-
get a shout out, please?
Shout out!
The Gormleysaurus, the official mascot of the FIFA Ramble.
Yeah.
Darren came in. Keep it simple and clear to all. Whatever is introduced, it has to be done properly.
Well said. Go on,
Yeah,
Lisa.
that's enough.
Touche.
Yeah, go on.
There's never anything funny from him. It's always very
He's
to the
always
point.
straight
Don't
on.
knock
isn't
him. Bloody hell.
he? He's great though.
Like, the thing on
Um,
racism was great. Like, you're not going to stop it.
No. Right.
Yeah.
Raj,
Yeah.
Then,
Right.
Arsenal, friend of
Ramble.
the show, friend of the Ramble, came in and said they need to make sure the procedure is sorted. Sounds like Italy have introduced it without much thought, and there have been a few questionable decisions. The way they used it during the World Cup was almost perfect. and this is my point that I've been making for ages, someone somewhere decided this season VAR is good enough to be used at the World Cup final.
We'll try it.
But nowhere else
tell
in
me
the leagues
it's
as well.
not good enough
For the Premier League or any other leagues, you know, they've set a standard, haven't they?
Yeah.
If it's played in the World Cup, it should be across the board, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the craziest
Football
thing
League-
about it.
The Football League and the FA decided that it's good enough for the World Cup final, but it's not good enough for Millwall versus Everton.
But one thing,
it's ridiculous.
Not all. It's only going to be for the elite, though, isn't it? It's all maybe championships. There's only certain grounds that can obviously have that.
Well, funny you should
and
say
these
this.
type of things in
Right,
place
hang
with
on.
the angles and VAR to be used properly. Otherwise, it's not a fair playing field.
Exactly.
Hold that thought.
So is that really football?
That was the issue with them in the Millwall match, wasn't it?
Hold that thought. I mentioned the Millwall game.
Yeah.
And Jack at Maverick2_ on Twitter,
Yeah.
friend of the show as well. I have no problem with it in principle. But when some games in a cup, for example, are using VAR and some aren't, that's not right. It's got to be the same rule for everyone.
Exactly.
Then, first time
Consistency.
contactor of the show,
Welcome.
Gary_Lover. He used to write for me on a website around called Total Football.
Did he?
So he's a good, solid guy. And he then responded to Jack and said, why though? If you compare to Rugby League, who've been using it for years, it's accepted that TV screens are only available at certain grounds. I'd be keen to know the cost of having VAR at a game to the club. Would Mansfield, for example, want VAR if it cost them 50 grand a game?
I don't think it should come down to the club who should put it in place. I think it should be.
I think the league should subsidise
the
it.
league should pay or at least a certain percentage.
Yeah, but you would.
But an overall high percentage just to make sure it's a level playing ground field.
Or
Yeah.
you say if it's not going to be available to the whole of, it could be just the league. So the Premier League can have it, the Championship can have it.
League football.
League football. Or as long as it's the same in that competition. So the FA Cup, you've got a situation where it's not all the same for some sides who are live on TV. As long as it's the same, if it's all everyone in the Championship's got it or no one in the Championship's got it.
However, you can say if it's in the FA Cup, for example, say if a team who are a non-league team were to get drawn against and they were playing at home against a league team. How do you make the call then on the VAR? Because they haven't got,
I think it'll come to a streamlined case though, when that can be set up specifically wherever with certain.
I think it should.
There's teething problems at this stage. If we're going to have driverless cars and robots can do everything, surely that can be a thing that's sorted out. Especially with the money that is in football right now at that level.
I agree because I think rugby league is a little bit further ahead than even rugby union, the way that they use it, and they've progressed that. Progress the way they use it.
It doesn't take very long for technology to go further. So by the time it is next season, there'll be measures in place which make it a level playing field, and that's the reason why I live here.
Right, can we round it up with this?
Round it up, go on.
Shout out your fave.
Shout out.
Captain Gareth got involved.
Yeah.
Captain
Gareth.
Yeah, he said not at all, but that bonkers decision in the Nice game shows that it still relies on humans. Also Lille, heart eyes emoji. Yeah.
But he's right, but it touched on a point I said before, it's not the technology that's wrong. It might, when people say there's VAR isn't working, well VAR is working, but the application of it and people's judgment of it might be wrong.
Yeah,
but
it's that sort of VAR is a technology, it's not, it's just rewinding
but
what
there's
happened.
also calls in the World Cup though, wasn't there? They were, even after reviewing on VAR, they're going to take the time and going, well, okay, there's how many people are going to make decisions? Just going to be one person, or you're going to have a group of 3 people, and then the majority rules, or how are you going to base it on that?
That was a great World Cup, wasn't it? We had a great time, didn't we, in Russia?
Yeah.
Right,
that's it. Round up.
Someone that CCTV can't lie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
I like it. Can't tell me if I'm not good enough for Brighton.
Tell you what, I'm gonna go over here.
I'm done now. I've completed.
Have you seen one of his things? Meet Patterson.
I reckon that could happen. You'd be game.
Telling you.
I think you start some kind of bit of momentum here. I think positive.
No,
things.
I think we'll get it.
Right, we need to do a really, really super
I
quick
think we need to get
DVD versus.
Do you want me to
get?
do you want me to introduce him?
Patterson on Patterson.
No.
Patterson on Patterson action.
Right, I'll do it. So I've just got to say, I want to give you. Is this? I'll do it.
And we've only got literally about 30 seconds to deliberate, and then we're all going to make a decision. Best of 3. We're going to analyse it a little bit though. DVD versus.
I'm starting this, and I'm saying right.
So it's a new feature.
New feature.
Because everyone thinks that he's the best.
So
best
in
ever.
the failure of impressed, oppressed, repressed. the failure of our campaign.
We'll bring it back. Then we've got 2 weeks. We've got to give people 2
We'll
weeks.
just put it out there to a test audience. And
Right.
Yeah.
screenshot player
Test
who looks
centre.
oppressed, repressed, look impressed.
Right, ready?
Depressed.
So depressed.
Right, I'll start this one then, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I'll ask, and then you've got very limited time to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So Chris Sutton recently said that Virgil van Dijk was the best ever Dutch footballer.
I will take
In
that
the
as
Premier
gospel.
League.
I haven't even heard it yet.
Yeah.
I agree
Okay.
with Chris.
That's what Chris Sutton said, and this got us to thinking of other things and comparing them to Virgil van Dijk. So we've compared all the other Dutch footballers. Apparently Virgil van Dijk is the best. Now let's compare him to the rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a new feature for the show. I'm going to start this week, kick things off with: is Virgil van Dijk better than Archbishop Desmond Tutu?
Well, I think the Archbishop's got a tougher role, though, hasn't he?
Nowhere
Than,
near. You
We'll
can't.
let Desmond
A tutu. A
I mean,
tutu.
So we've
I don't know. I mean, you got to look at their different roles. I think the
Ooh.
Archbishop's got a he's got a
If
lot on
we're
his own
talking,
shoulders.
if we're
there,
talking
hasn't
bishops, Bishop Mazarewa.
he? Yeah, but I think Tutu's got I mean, listen, he hasn't got the summer
Who would
off.
win in a fight?
He hasn't got the summer off.
Tutu have Van Dijk.
Two of them
What
Mazarewa.
about whether you'd have him in a fight?
It depends. And if he gets cut, as Alex said, you cannot plug a dike.
Try. See what happens.
Try, Mitch.
I think
just
the
take the
physical
DVD
and
out.
emotional responsibilities that
Nice.
Tutu's got on his shoulders. I
So-
don't know if he can. I don't know if I'm going to say
Who
no.
are you
I'm
going
going to say I'm going with Tutu.
You're going with Desmond Tutu. Archbishop Desmond Tutu is better than Virgil van Dijk. Skin?
Even though Tutu has got more aggression in his game, I'm
Yeah.
going to have to side with Virgil.
Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, so you got-
Chip,
oh,
you got the
well,
I was
deciding
gonna
vote.
split, but I'm gonna go for a bit of Desmond Tutu, innit?
Yes.
So that is official.
That is-
Chris Sutton,
Just-
I hope you're listening because you've been mugged off, yeah?
He knows
Archbishop
nothing.
Desmond Tutu is better than Virgil van Dijk.
Guys, this week I'm doing the outro.
Outro it.
That's it.
Outro it, Mitch.
72. Thanks for listening. We've had a great time, haven't we? Don't forget to check us out on all the good socials and some not good ones. So
Yeah.
check us out if you ramble. And also don't forget to go down to Wason's Penarth.
Wasons
If you need
for your
all
hardware
your
needs.
hardware, if you want to DIY
Seeds.
it,
They do
Okay.
seeds.
they do all of that.
Do-
Potty plants.
do all that.
And we're done
Seeds.
Wasons Panard.
we're done for this week. Cheers. Thanks for our guest, Chich.
Thank you very
Been
much.
amazing.
Nice, Chich.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.